Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, it's those guys, along with your host Matt, and along with your other host. Ooh.
Oh God.
No!
It's
Have you ingested the bad air or the polluted bad air? It's still bad air regardless.
I don't know, podcast. Maybe I've been Matt talk back.
No, I feel like if there was something wrong with you and you were going to die, I feel like it'd have to be you dissing Star Wars. And I'm like, oh God, it got him. But anyway, so today, this is our 6th night of Shyamalan. We're still doing our nights of Dude, I got to be honest with you. To me, while this movie was trash in some ways, in some respects, I don't see how this is worse significantly. It is worse in certain ways. I don't understand how it's significantly worse than Lady in the Water. Both movies have elements that we wanted to love but definitely did not pan out. With lead actors that I think are better, much better in other movies. To be fair,
that I can definitely agree with.
Yeah. And this one has John Leguizamo, not as a lead, as a supporting, but still, this one, in my head anyway, immediately wins for having John Leguizamo. Not all of the movies, but out of Lady in the Water, this one, immediately I'm like, oh, John Leguizamo is in this movie. Because it's funny, you saw him when you were younger, you saw him in the Super Mario Brothers movie, and frankly, he is also a shining star in that movie.
He is.
He really is. So seeing him here, I was like, hey, this was a movie that, funnily enough, it had a star-studded cast, in my opinion, but before they were stars, sort of.
Yeah, right.
Like, granted, Wahlberg
I'm glad they were able to go on to do other things.
Yes.
Because this certainly wasn't doing them any favors.
No, dude, I'm super happy this did not kill any of their careers. And the stars that I'm talking about in particular are Wahlberg, are Zooey Deschanel, and of course Leguizamo. I'm super happy this didn't kill their careers. At least looking back, it feels as if, we've had Wahlberg do a bunch of different action movies, do a bunch of comedies. We've had Zooey Deschanel really kind of find that awkward nerd girl role and just focus on that and be able to do that kind of stuff throughout multiple different movies and be in better movies as well. I mean, I haven't seen 500 Days of Summer, but I've heard great things about it. It was she starred in it along with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Right.
Yeah, so it was a big movie back when it came out, but I've never seen it. But still, so I've heard great things about that film. I've heard, I've seen her a little bit here and there in New Girl. She was funny there. I've seen her doing some other stuff as well. Oh, she was in, have you seen Elf with Will Ferrell?
Oh no. I have bad memories of that movie.
Anyway, so...
You disgust me.
I thought we've already established that. But no, she was in, but have you seen the movie or just the promos when it got, aired to shit all those years? Actually see the film or no?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, then yeah, so she worked as one of Santa's elves.
Right.
Yeah, so that's who she was in that movie, which I think in that movie it worked. So like some of her, that's the thing, like some of what she does, it works in certain roles, but I think this was one of those movies where you took actors who, and I know some people might say, oh, but actors should be able to act. But personally, well, I don't think an actor should be stereotyped and cast in only specific roles. Like, I don't have to sit here and only see Mark Hamill in, Star Wars or Star Wars type roles forever. I don't.
Right.
We should have him, branch out and do other stuff. And he's also very funny as well. But I also...
Yeah.
But I don't know how I would react to, like, Mark Hamill being, like, in like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like in that type of role where it's like Mark Hamill is, the protector, the protector, and he's just going around. He's just like, all right, I'm going to protect you, and, like, starts shooting around, like, a bunch of big guns and shit like that. I don't know how I would – that's what I'm saying. Like, not every single – even though actors should be able to act, it doesn't mean that every actor needs to transform themselves for every role that they're doing.
Right, for
to
every
the point,
role, yeah.
Yeah, to the point where it's like we have Mark Hamill going from Luke Skywalker to getting, fucking calf implants so he's taller, taking roids and turning into Schwarzenegger. Like, we don't need that. Right? In the same way that I don't need Schwarzenegger to be like, oh, no, you're not my father. Like, I don't need that. And I don't need him to be Luke Skywalker.
Going to have nightmares of that.
What if he played his dad as well?
Monster.
So it's just, what if he's also Vader? No. But what I'm trying to say, though, Tristan, is that this movie, like, I want to, because some people, I think, I don't know if they did, but I'm pretty sure they would have put blame on the actors themselves, because I feel like people sometimes do that without taking the script or the direction or a bunch of other things into account. They're like, well, that was bad
right.
because that actor was in it. I'm like, no. Like, to me anyway.
No.
Like, I'm not, and by the way, I'm not saying that Mark Wahlberg deserves an Academy Award. Oscar winner Mark Wahlberg in everything he's ever done. No. Right? I'm not saying that, the Transformers films that he was in, which I don't think I've seen all of them, but I may have seen one that he was in. I've saw the ones with Shia LaBeouf, Indiana Jones's kid, but I don't know if I've seen them with, that's who he was. That's the only one, we've only done one podcast with him in a movie, and that was the one. I could say he was in Holes. I don't know if that makes it any better. Yeah, right?
Yeah, for me that makes it better.
Oh, okay. I never saw the movie. I just read the book.
That movie I remember fondly.
That's good. But anyway, so
Sigourney Weaver's in there too.
Oh well, now I have to fucking see the movie. But talking about this movie though, the one that we're podcasting on tonight. By the way, you can tell from the title. You can tell from the title of the video, but if you can't for some reason, it's The Happening. Which, by the way, can we just point out? Even if this was the best movie, even if this was a movie that, like, actually was Academy Award winning in any category, right? Even if it was in sound mixing, right? That title is really bad.
Yeah, and I think the worst part is I don't think I could even come up with an alternate title to make it sound any better.
Actually, I found one. The original working title that Shyamalan had it under. I'm gonna find it right now as we're talking. Tristan, tell me some bad things about this movie. Tell the fans some things you disliked about the movie.
Where do I begin?
So you saw this movie back when it first came out, or a year or two later, or what's the story there? Because you've been shitting on this.
A year or two later.
Okay, because you've been shitting on this movie ever since I said we're going to do the 12 Nights of Shyamalan. So I was actually hyped. I was hyped to see this in a way.
Oh, God. Yes, my suffering gives you joy. Sounds about right.
Sure, joy. But no, the thing is that I... No, but the reason why is because
I know the line.
You were...
Say it, though.
No, I'm not. But you were anti-promoting it. That's the reason why. Like, you were, like, if someone, like, here's the thing, right? Let's apply this to people. And usually when it comes to people, this actually works out in my favor. When someone told me in high school, don't hang out with that person, they're the weird one, don't do that, I would immediately gravitate towards that person, and I would have a hell of a time with them.
Well, I heard the word weird, so yeah, that's your ace in the hole right there.
Yes, it is. So that's the thing. When I hear, oh, this is the worst, yada yada, and this is really bad, and this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, I was like, you had my attention, and now you have my erection. So that's kind of my go-to there. Speaking of ace in the hole.
Right.
So, like, yeah, I just I just felt. Okay.
You went for it anyway.
Yep, I did. Yeah, I didn't think about it until you said it. But anyway, so tell me what you hated about this, or like what negatively stuck out, either when you first saw, or like what's the story behind it? Because you never saw any other Shyamalan film. How the fuck did this one get in there?
I don't even remember. I think it was I think it was with friends or someone had. I don't even remember. That's the worst part. I can't even put blame on someone. Like you did this to me.
So no one was. Were people affectionately shitting on it, or was everyone just quiet in fear out of how bad it was?
I don't even remember.
Oh wow, you really repressed this memory, dear Jesus.
Oh yes. I
gotta be honest with you. There's like a 7 out of 10 chance that you died watching the movie, and you're just skipping from place to place.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't remember.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can't. I have no reason to disagree with you right now.
I was taking a sip. I was of something. I was like, he'll talk for long, and I realized, I done fucked up. By the way, the movie was called. The movie was called The Green Effect.
Right. Right. Now I remember. I mean,
how is
it's
that
not
a
great, but it's sort of better.
Yeah, because Shyamalan said in an interview, or I don't know if he said in an interview, but it lists that at one point that was the working title. So,
right.
Frankly, even though, yes, it shows what
honestly,
the end
was. That would work. Oh, yeah, it kind of well, I mean, it's not like they had the big twist at the end of the movie anyway, but this actually works as a Shyamalan movie title. I think I would have preferred it that way, yeah.
Yeah, I would have liked, and my thing is this, right? I think it's just, if you're going for B-movie schlock, which apparently, according to Shyamalan, that's what he was going for. Maybe not schlock, but he used the word a B-movie. If you're going for B-movie schlock, you got to go into it.
I guess The Happening works for that, then?
No. To me, The Green Effect works more. Like, I picture The Green Effect in the background with like a mock-up, hand-drawn, 1940s, 1950s poster, and in Technicolor. Like, I picture that with The Green Effect. With The Happening, with The Happening, I just don't know what the fuck to even think about. Like, The Happening? What happened?
Hey, you just made the joke that everyone back in high school made.
That's the thing. It's not even low-hanging fruit. It's just there for everyone to see.
It's the rotten piece of fruit that's sitting on the ground that everyone goes to pick up and realize, it's rotten.
No, it's not. It's not even fruit. It's not even considered you can't. It's not even. It's just the grass. It exists there.
Oh God, no, Matt! Don't talk bad about the grass.
Hey, first of all, I have plants in my house, and I water the plants, right, guys?
Are they plastic?
They're nodding. No.
No, okay. It's okay. I have a plant in my room right now, too, and I'm bowing in front of it, making sure that doesn't poison me in my sleep.
It will take that into account. It's looking into all options. I just think that this was a very good concept, and I think it's so interesting how Shyamalan has been doing this with his past, I'm going to say with his past 3 movies, because I'm going to throw The Village in here as well. Despite the fact that I think The Village is better than both of these two, I'm still going to throw The Village in there, briefly.
Yeah, okay. Right,
yeah,
right. I get it.
Yeah, I know. You know where I'm coming from with that, because we talked about, if anyone's wondering why my thoughts are like this, where am I going, then I would suggest looking at our Village, I think that was day 4, and then night 4, and then night 5, which was Lady in the Water. I go more in depth there, and so does Tristan. But when it comes to this movie, the reason why I'm comparing it to those two and saying the idea that great concepts, but then in the execution, something went wrong.
Yep.
It is like one of those sci-fi movies. It's just something went horribly wrong, and that's when we added in Chemical Shyamalan. No,
oh my God.
It's funny though, because frankly, obviously without these, because in some of these cases, I feel like at least with The Village and with Lady in the Water, it's different. I'll say that much. When it comes to something like this, though, saying that it's supposed to be a B movie, you're literally saying, hey, this isn't meant to be different.
Right.
So I think, so that's one thing. Like my first thought is, is this something that's different? And I think that might be one of the problems, perhaps. Shyamalan, in a way, might be in his best element when he's doing something different or doing his somewhat nuanced, maybe not nuanced, but like somewhat different take on something.
Right.
So like, look,
so this would have been his take on a disaster movie, which I kind of would have liked to see.
Yeah,
because, the premise, I really love the premise of, the plants being the thing, all the plants giving off chemicals and the chemical affecting humans, like the planet kind of fighting back in its own way. Nature saying, stop building on top of me. I don't appreciate it.
Yeah, no. And it's a thing where, it's a very interesting idea. And to see, and you want to see where it's going to go. And I think another problem too is that even though some people may say that they're shoehorned in, I think that Shyamalan's movies are also good when we have a villain that can either be defeated or pushed away. And I think the problem is that in a movie like this, there was no villain that could be defeated or thing that can be overcome. And yes, the idea is, but Matt, they have to survive. But still, in any kind of thriller or horror movie, unless you know there's going to be a sequel, it's usually good that something is solved. And even though I've said what I've said about some other, movies that Shyamalan has done, at least, I don't know, at least like that's the problem with, now I'm even going to throw in Signs in a way with the aliens only left. Like, I don't know why Shyamalan is married to the idea of it's an ending just for the characters, but really this entire shit can go on forever. Who fucking knows? I'm never going to revisit it.
Right.
No one ever will.
But Matt, we're going to get a sequel. It's going to be The Happening France edition.
First of all, I accept. Look, I think it's wrong, just like with video games. Like, why should America only get it? Let's give a PAL edition of The Happening. Let's have them get the problem is the frame rates will be different. It's a little bit faster over there.
Oh my god, right. Or it'll be like the different crime drama shows, like, CIS. We get, regular CIS, then we get Miami, then we get Los Angeles. Now we'll have The Happening France, we'll have The Happening Russia, we'll have The Happening China, The Happening Antarctica.
All right, so
it's actually a really tricky one.
So a few things. First of all, it's CSI, but more importantly, I don't know what CSI stands for, and I'm gonna flip it around when I find out. What is CSI? What was that?
Crime scene investigation. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Is what it stood for.
More importantly, it's the crime investigation scene. So it's a bunch of fucking drama nerds just doing crime scenes.
Oh god.
But anyway, so what's going on here? Basically, what's going on is that this. But the thing is, by the way, I have no problem with the idea that it's going to go to other places, because maybe the idea is once the planet is like, all right, we've gotten rid of enough of them, it feels as if there's more resources available to them so that they can exist and not constantly be built upon in a way. It's like a...
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
It would be basically like forcing humanity to be like into center populations instead of mass, gatherings and populations in cities, stuff like that. Either that, or you go on the extreme opposite end, and all cities become completely paved over.
I mean, either way, it would just be interesting to see what happens, because
right, because that part I was still interested in, like at the beginning when they're like, oh, it's only like originating in like Central Park. It's like, that's odd. That's the only place where there's plants in New York City. Wait a minute. Yes. Yeah, like that's the thing. It's interesting that, by the way, another thing too I would like to mention, when I said that, people's talents weren't used in inappropriate ways in terms of actors, I just don't see Mark Wahlberg as a science teacher. And frankly, neither does Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg has gone on record to say, you know what? It's a shit movie. And I'm like, oh. But anyway, damn.
So, yeah, he was like, I'm not the one who wrote me as a science teacher, okay? And I was like, Jesus.
Wow. I mean,
yeah,
I get maybe not wanting to have a specific, aspect of your character, but like, what do you got against science teachers, bro?
Just look at him. I don't know, like I think he was in his best element in that scene when he was messing around with the principal or the dean.
Right.
No, that's the thing.
Do you think he was that kid in high school science? The kid that he pointed out, like, hey, your facial features might not last forever.
To be fair,
in science.
To be fair, that could have been the character. I don't know him as a person, but that could have been the character.
Yeah.
It's just, I think, and it's funny too because people were saying, oh, there really wasn't a lot of character depth. I don't think we needed like constant flashbacks, but it is kind of funny how we did get like nothing other than what is the happening.
Right.
Other than, by the way, I won't say that things are happening. I will only refer to them as the happening for the rest of the podcast, unless I forget.
Oh my God.
But no,
and
no,
who's
but that's
Joey?
Oh, you know who Joey is, right?
No.
Please tell me you know who Joey is.
No, Matt. I
Joey's
honestly
voice?
didn't give a shit.
Joey's voice?
Oh.
That's M. Night Shyamalan. I thought there was one, and even I was like, I would like him to be in this movie. Where is Shyamalan? He did it. Honestly, so I haven't seen some of his newer movies, right? Because we're gonna see them while we do the 12 Nights of Shyamalan. I swear to God, Tristan, I'm waiting for him to just be a fucking text, or just for it to be like production notes. M. Night Shyamalan sent that text, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out.
Oh my God.
I'm waiting for it now.
Right.
But seriously, yeah, he was Joey. And more importantly, by the way, so two things that really confused the shit out of me. So, okay, well, first off, this is M. Night Shyamalan's first ever R-rated movie. I think that he shouldn't have done that. That was a really bad idea.
The gore felt kind of like, it felt like that high school level where, like, people in high school would talk about it, like, oh, it's so edgy and gory, like, you gotta see this. That's what I remember.
Love you, yes. And here's the thing, by the way.
The lawnmower one got me the most, I think. Like,
I thought they were gonna,
I don't want this.
Two things. One, I thought they were going to cut away, and I think they should have. And two, I think this is more important. If that guy felt suicidal, the rest of them should have. So I think they all should have laid down, and then they would have cut away. That would have been worse to me. Like, if they all just laid down with him, and then they cut away, and I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Right. Which one got you the most? Was it the lawnmower, too?
No, because I expected it. As he's starting it up, I'm like, he's not looking for resources unless killing himself is a resource. Like, he's not looking for shit. No, I think stabbing herself in the neck. Because that was in the beginning. Yeah, like because you would also. I feel like the guy who jumped off, the first guy that jumped off out of all the construction workers, only because his leg was twisted. That's it, just the leg. Because overall, it's not like gore really gets me. My problem with it more so is that it hasn't been in other Shyamalan movies. I'm happy that he is trying something different out of what he's done.
Right.
So even though it's not different than other people, but it's different than what he does. And I like that he's trying something different, but I just think, like, yeah, it came off as a bit edgy and a bit like, oh, because we can do it, we're going to.
Right.
And what felt strange is that they did that, but then they cut back on the sexual stuff. Like, it's rated R. You can say that, they kissed, like, Zooey Deschanel's character, that she and Joey kissed, or she and Joey had sex. Like, it's weird that it's tiramisu. Like, what the fuck? Like, did Shyamalan randomly try tiramisu and was like, yo, this shit is good, it's going in the script?
Don't you know, like, that's code. Like, we had tiramisu means she totally slept with him.
I love it. The kids there, we had tiramisu.
Oh, God.
I could just imagine. No, oh my God, no. Tristan. The kid's here, so we had tiramisu. The little girl's like, wait, is that the one for sex or anal? And how do you know that?
Oh my
Just
God.
Wahlberg is screaming at the little girl. Who taught you this stuff? I go to public school. Watch your fucking mouth. But no, I was saying it would be funnier if she said that. Not the little girl, like Zooey Deschanel's character said, yeah, we had tiramisu. And like, I don't know if you've ever seen The Other Guys, but just Mark Wahlberg's character in The Other Guys is fucking hilarious. Like in The Other Guys, because in The Other Guys, his girlfriend had broken up with him. I think his fiance. And so he's really trying to get her back, and he's really, his character is very off-the-wall angry, while Will Ferrell's character is very soft and kind and really soft-spoken. So it got to the point where, literally Mark Wahlberg's character busts in on his ex-girlfriend. She's a ballet dancer, so she's dancing with a guy in a ballet class, and he goes, "What are you, a stripper now? Huh? You stripping? You dancing on poles, Terry? I am doing ballet with my gay dance instructor." And he goes, "Really? Huh? Ballet? Well, you think that you think I can't do ballet, that I'm not sensitive?" And he starts doing full-on ballet. And then outside, Will Ferrell's like, "Terry, how do you know how to do ballet?" And he goes, "Well, because in the neighborhood, a bunch of those kids did ballet. We made fun of them." "So you learned choreography?"
Oh, my God.
Like, to make fun of them, he actually straight up learned ballet maneuvers to make fun of the kids for doing ballet. This dude is fucking... No, it was just so he just said, like, "What, tiramisu?
Yeah.
What, you think I can't cook tiramisu? I can cook tiramisu right now. Huh? Wind? I can cook tiramisu." Just screaming at the wind. But,
You just hear on the wind, "Oh, man, chill out."
Dude.
There's, like, a tree branch, like, lowers and, like, pats him on the back, like, "It's okay.
Stop giving to me. What are you, the giving tree? Fuck you. All right, fuck you."
Just
walks
kills him immediately.
No, I imagine, like, just the wind, just, "Do you two need some time?" But, yeah,
The tree,
by the way,
like, babysits the kid, like, the tree puts her back on the tree swing. It's like, "It's okay. You're okay.
One thing I want to...
You haven't done anything wrong."
You're actually fine, kid. Before I get to something else, because mentioning the kids, I just thought about something else. Before I even get to that, I want to say, before I even get to that, holy shit.
Right. Jesus Christ.
Something else that Shyamalan did differently than he usually does, making this a worldwide event, getting out of his stomping grounds, going to New York, at least in the beginning, and having something be...
It's okay. We ended up in Pennsylvania anyway.
I mean, for Shyamalan, all roads lead to PA. But
pretty much.
Yeah, but I still think that it was nice that, they went into a different... Also, by the way, Shyamalan, I don't know if Shyamalan moved to New York at all. Maybe he has a place here. But he's truly adopted the New York ideals and New York sensibilities. Think about it, right? I don't know about going to PA if that's that's the savior of all. But the second John Leguizamo's character is like, "I got to go to Jersey," boom, died. I got it.
Oh, my God.
I got to be honest. I have a feeling. Shyamalan at the very least got a draft looked over, or got a cut of the film looked over by some New Yorkers, and they were like, "Leguizamo's character, I think he should be going to Jersey, not Connecticut." And he was like, "All right."
Oh my God.
But yeah. But seriously though, I like that he did something different. And the problem is, of course, that it's not different from what other people have done. But in terms of what he's been making, because we're only really trying to, although we are going into Mark Wahlberg's filmography for some reason, we're still trying to, stick to what Shyamalan has done. And I do think that this is different, making it a worldwide event, making it a much bigger scale. Not, now again, though, the issue is that because you make it such a bigger scale, in a way, you kind of cut back on the family drama, even though he's still trying to put it at the forefront. I still think in a way people are like, yeah, that's the thing. People are kind of... No, but I say family, not just the two of them, because they're also trying to take care of this little girl. Like, it's not... That's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that it's not just the two of them.
Right. But
yeah.
she
No,
felt barely involved half the time, and their couple feuding was... From the moment it began, I'm like, I'm going to hate this.
And here's the problem, too, right? You and I have differences in feelings about romantic subplots, but my issue with it is that it just wasn't good.
Yeah, no, it was...
It can be good. Like, it wasn't, like in The Village, it wasn't terrible. You know, or having the Sixth Sense. Having the Sixth Sense where, you know, he's thinking he and his wife aren't doing too hot.
Right, yeah.
In Unbreakable, it was odd, but still much better than this.
Romantic subplots aren't always crap. Yeah.
But this, ooh.
But yeah, no, this was trash.
Literally, his character is a science teacher, and yet they have no chemistry. That sounds like a bad pun, but it's just accurate. No, but it's just accurate.
I know. I know.
Oh, God, it hurts. But you know what's funny, though? Like, they had bad chemistry in the beginning. So you could think, the issue is that they would later gain better chemistry.
Nope.
No. I don't know what happened there. And frankly, again, I can show you some really fun clips from New Girl and some other stuff that Zooey Deschanel has been in, and you'd be like, oh, wow, this fits very well for her and what she does.
No, I'm definitely not blaming, you know, the actress or the actor, you know, as part of it. It's just the direction that they wanted that couple to be in was not a good one.
Yeah, another thing, too, speaking now of the gore and everything like that, one thing I wanted to mention, because we talked about some gory scenes, I think one that caught me off guard, but in a good way. Actually, I will somehow praise Shyamalan for doing this, not because I liked it, but because it was different. No matter what, I've never seen this before in a film, and I'm sure it's happened at least once. I mean, so many films out there, it's had to have fucking happened a fair amount of times, but I've never seen any movies that I've watched that are considered quote-unquote mainstream, and Shyamalan, yes, despite the fact that he had a falling out for a bit, is still considered a mainstream director. Kids dying gruesomely. Like, those two kids?
Like they didn't even look... Dead's done that, and I don't watch it, so...
Yes, I'm talking about movies, though. TV series, and yes, and by the way, it didn't show them dying. It's just dead kid, and you're like, wow, I can't believe that happened. But it didn't, like, show a kid getting shot.
Right.
That's something they still haven't done. Yeah, point fucking blank twice.
Critical.
Like, yeah, no, like, you would think...
And not just like one as a warning. Nope, we just got both of them.
Like, yeah, no, like, I thought it was one as a warning, or I thought, you know, like, if it was, and that's another thing, too, that I think isn't real life. Like, yes, they're hooligans, but you would think that they would shoot his character, you know, it's like, but he wasn't being mean. Still, you shoot him so that the kids can run away. It's so weird that they shot two kids immediately. Like, I don't know what, like, another thing, too, by the way, now, well, no, let's not get to that yet. Just the idea of them shooting the two kids. I'm sure you did not expect that as much as I did not.
No, I actually didn't. But the other stupid part about it was, go away or you'll let the gas in. It's a terrorist attack. You'll let the gas in. Opens the door to shoot the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that's the problem, though. It wasn't just the issue there. It was the issue throughout the entire movie, and that's what I wanted to get to next. Even with my suspension of disbelief powers that are rather high, they really are.
Right.
I've leveled them up. I can't understand a disaster that has to do with the air. And some people might say, but it's not air, it's the wind. Yeah, but it doesn't go away the second the wind stops.
Either. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, it's the chemicals from the plants themselves, so they travel on the wind.
Right. But the thing is that, like, the wind can't just stop and then the chemicals stop like they're just falling to the ground. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not magic.
It's the idea that it was supposed to be, like, it's very concentrated for a short amount of time and in a very specific area. But, yeah, it's the idea. It's like taking a concept that actually exists, but bumping it up to the extreme to have it work the way you want it to.
But the problem is that I would argue it wasn't extreme enough. And what I mean is that just like when you and I talked about Jurassic World, it's the idea that it's not that they're being bumped up to like a threat. They're a threat that's being bumped down. Because if that actually happened, and it did happen in some way, like it was, like bioterrorism, we would all be dead. It wouldn't just be, oh, only Central Park is dead, but thankfully I wasn't in Central Park. I was just a block away, so I'm fine.
Right.
No, it has to. It's a problem throughout the park, and then it will spread. Like, it's weird to say that it will just stop the second it gets out of the limits of the park. Like, oh, there's no grass here. I guess it's just going to fall to the ground. Like the idea of a chemical, like just falling.
Yeah.
Like,
I
that's
guess
what I'm saying.
it's also the idea of the chemical, like the concentration of the chemical, too. So if you're exposed to only a small amount of it, you're still okay. It's only if you get to the amount that is needed for your brain to start misfiring. Yeah.
I guess. I mean, that's the thing. It never really, like, if you were in a city that truly had no vegetation other than that one area, and you had no plants in your house. So if I had no plants in my house, maybe like the tiniest little piece of grass outside coming out of asphalt, I don't think I'd be A-okay. Like, I don't know if I'd really be. That's what I'm saying.
With those parameters, I'd argue you would be okay.
All right. Because to me, it just feels weird to say that something is, like you said, technically it's airborne. You were telling this through text. In theory, it's airborne-ish, I guess. And it's not killing us. Now, granted, you made a good point. It only happened throughout one day. So if someone was asleep for 14 hours, maybe they were fine, a bender or something. Like, I partied a lot, and then I fell asleep, and I didn't wake up till the next day. Somehow I'm fine. Maybe. But I don't know. Like, I'm not saying it killed everyone in the U.S., but it's...
Or the Eastern Seaboard.
Yeah, exactly. But... it's just, I don't know. Like, it just seems, because, I mean, the idea of, like...
That's a part, too. It's not all plants all at once. It's the idea that plants are kind of, because there are studies where trees, I'm not sure about other plants, but trees can actually communicate with one another between their root networks and send, like, kind of like, nervous system, like electrical messages to one another. So it's across the Eastern Seaboard, as, I guess, I mean, in this case, it's like as populations of people are moving and stuff, the message is being sent out, and certain areas those plants are activating at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And it moves around, basically, until it spreads. I don't know whether it was spreading outward or inward. I guess it would have been outward.
No, but it seems as if the idea seemed as if, to me, that it would like pop up like a spray, like pfft, and then, oh no, the area is polluted. But it won't be later, but it is right now. Because I can't imagine it only spraying in certain areas, and then apparently they're all okay until they get to that one patch. And then apparently, according to, their quote-unquote findings later, it's only large groups that set it off. So it's like, Mark Wahlberg, did you just call these smart plants stupid? Like they don't notice if it's just two people?
Yeah, and that's the funny thing, because then later on it goes down to just one person afterwards. Like when they're at the crazy lady's house.
Which, by the way, I totally understand if and this is truly fan canon, I guess, because it's me talking about it, but like if Shyamalan came out and was like, nah, dude, she was really loud and really mean, and they sensed that, so they were like, fuck you. Like, I thought we were going to get a Power of Love ending.
Right. The thing that I thought was, it felt like, because she talked about having a garden, but she was like, yeah, nothing ever grew correctly. I guess I just don't have a knack for it. So what I kind of thought of, it wasn't just like construction work or laying down roads or like, places where you'd be tearing out vegetation to make way for infrastructure. it would also be like, because it's funny though that
aliens
greenhouse or like a nuclear plant.
Were you thinking aliens?
No.
Because at one point I was
thinking aliens. Oh. Okay, no, I can totally see where you might think aliens. Yeah. But it also felt like if you had a man-made garden. Granted, it's growing plants, but it's sort of in a controlled kind of man-made setting. So, but I don't know if that really pans out or not, but yeah.
At first, I pictured her being alive due to the fact that she grew plants. Because, you know what's interesting? I think would have been a more interesting concept. Granted, I'm sure it's been done before, so maybe that wouldn't have been original.
Mm-hmm.
If not everyone was affected and people were wondering why.
Right.
Because I thought that was the case at first, technically.
Yeah. I had wondered if it was like people under stress or other problems within their life going on already, and this just kind of get into overdrive. But
maybe not that, because I don't want to. That's a little too dark for me. But
yeah.
But I still thought that it would be maybe random people being affected. Maybe the trees are trying to tell us something. Like, I think that would have been a better message other than just, they're fucking killing us like we've killed them. But then they can't kill everyone at once until they can. Like, at first, was it just them at first being like, can we actually do this? I don't know, Tom. Let's find out. Oh, shit, we can. All right. Well, let's get those other people, too. Fuck it.
Yeah, they try to play off the idea that, plants adapt really rapidly. They wouldn't, again, bumping things up to the extreme, like it's a day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to evolve that quickly. Like,
I know.
If it were a few weeks, few months, yes, then that would be a longer time frame for the movie, and there'd have to be time skips in there. But if it was like over months or over a year, you started to see like catastrophic events like this popping up, where it was maybe not suddenly the plants make you kill yourself, but it was like a disease, a new like fungal infection or, pollen that's so deadly that overrides your immune system and you can't fight it and it kills you off that way. It's a slow and painful death, yes, but, something like that would make more sense, at least to me.
So your thought is, if it was applied to real life, fuck killing yourself, it'd probably be more like you would develop a cough or something, and then all of a sudden you'd be like, I have an itch, a rash. Yeah, no,
right.
I was just saying that, like, I may have preferred, and I don't want to get too much into this, but, like, just the idea of, like, what would have been better. But I just saying that, I'm saying in general, I would have preferred the idea that, because it looked like from the beginning, and again, maybe that was just their evolution, but it looked like at the beginning it wasn't affecting everyone, and it's not like those guys working on top of that, unless they were near a really tall tree, which can happen in New York, in some cases.
Right.
Why would they, on top of that building, get hit by how would they get hit by the, like, it felt like like I said, only the wind
if they were up high
is
enough,
the chemical carried.
Right. Arguably,
but
a wind current could have carried it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't come down, right? It's never going to come down. Because if you think of it like pollen is what I'm saying, it's never going to come down, apparently. So they're going to be, you're going to have them looking up like, oh, my God, why are they killing themselves? And apparently you're fine on the bottom. That's the weird. But I think it was just one of those things where Shyamalan wanted to do some cool scenes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. People on the bottom definitely would have been affected as well.
Yeah, that's a very impactful scene.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. They're going for the shock factor over everything else, which I get it.
Yeah. So.
Like, I get it. You want those oh my God moments where everyone's just suddenly dying. But
right.
Yeah.
But I do think that he potentially, unless, evolution is their way of writing that off, but I feel like he kind of betrayed his own rules that he set in the movie, which frankly happens a lot with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not too much, but it just happens a little bit here and there. So here's the thing, right?
I mean, Matt, you haven't lived until you've, betrayed your own rules and values. I mean, that's just humanity, right? That's
part of the goddamn message.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of some other things in the movie that kind of either I didn't like or yada yada. I feel like the soundtrack was kind of non-existent. Maybe I would have preferred more of one. Which, in some ways, I'm happy that it was kind of quiet, in a way that was also tense as well. But there wasn't, at least with Lady in the Water, there were some tracks in there that really wowed me.
Were nice, yeah, right.
Yeah. As far as I know, one quick thing. As far as I know, they didn't bring anyone back from Lady in the Water.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
I'm pretty sure. Unless
and it feels like he's kind of done that.
Unless some extra was pregnant. Well, then again, no. They unless some extra was pregnant and the baby was in this movie, then I don't know.
Okay.
Matt, please stop it. What was I? Oh, here's something funny. Here's an odd twist. Here's a Shyamalanian twist. Twist.
Okay.
Mark Wahlberg's brother was Bruce Willis, as in his character in The Sixth Sense, the guy that killed him in the beginning.
Oh.
Yeah, not like as characters, like as actual actors.
Yeah.
That's his brother Donnie Wahlberg.
Right.
So you could argue that's the connection, if there is ever one. Is I worked with your brother. The same way that in Signs, they got I forgot who it was to do the little kid, to be the little kid. I think he was related to the Osmonds, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong there.
Oh, okay.
I think I mentioned that to you when we did Signs. Anyway, but moving on.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Or was he related to a Culkin? I forgot. Either way, the point is that, what is it? The soundtrack was lacking, I think. When it comes to the kid, so it's funny. I don't want to blame the kid for not being a good actress because she's a damn kid. But at the same time, it's just one of those things where the kid should be the only one that I'm that's bad. It shouldn't be Wahlberg.
It really felt like she didn't get the chance to have a shining moment to contribute to anything. Because usually, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it feels like usually in movies, the kid usually has at least one moment where they think of something that nobody else does.
Especially Shyamalan movies. We've had The Sixth Sense. We've also had Signs, which it was convoluted in Signs, but it still happened. We've had The Sixth Sense.
Right.
We've had Signs. We've had powerful teenagers in The Village. We had Lady in the Water didn't really have much. Oh no, Lady in the Water had the kid who can fucking read cereal boxes.
Cereal boxes, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so you had.
And then even Unbreakable, the guy's kid too, helping him figure out his superpowers and stuff, even for a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Tristan. Every movie thus far, I feel like the kids have done something, and in this one, it was just kind of I'm sure, she seemed pretty broke. It's funny, she seemed broken up about her parents and everything, but I guess, granted, no, she was broken up. Yeah, she was broken up about the parents because when she heard about what happened in New Jersey, she just safely assumed, oh my God, my dad died in New Jersey, and it's I want to tell her, no, don't worry, sweetie, he never made it. If that makes you feel any better, that'll make her feel better, right? As she's crying harder.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. Oh, you were mentioning, we were mentioning the idea of the guy opening the door to shoot the kid. Let's put that fucking aside, right? Let's say you're in your house, and this is the reason why it upsets me as much as it does. The whole if you're in your house, what the hell? Because you're in your house, all the windows are closed, the door is closed. Does anyone understand that there are still houses, especially, in New York, I'm in Queens, that can have a draft if it's really, really windy outside?
Right.
Even with all my doors closed, if there's a storm or if things are, if things are getting real windy out there, then sometimes, I'm just letting everybody know in case they don't know, sometimes if I close a door and I only push it a little bit, it'll still get pulled. And I'm but what? The windows are closed. That's because if your house was actually airtight, you would die.
It's the trees, Matt. Yeah, that too.
If there is no like, the reason why we're worried about people who get trapped in mines or in caves or something like that isn't because they don't have any
airflow.
It's not about water or food. They could have brought down an entire goddamn fucking KFC. And I don't mean like a bucket. I mean like a franchise. It could KFC in a mine. I'm just saying, it doesn't matter.
Not just a bucket, a whole damn fridge.
It's just not even just one store, just a bunch of local KFCs in a mine, in a mine shaft. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, dude, because everyone in that KFC will die due to lack of airflow. The chicken is irrelevant. But that's kind of something people need to realize, though. Like, it's just like that's what we worry about. You can literally have an entire goddamn buffet refrigeration system. You can have power down there.
Yeah.
But
that's what
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same idea. That's why I hated when like Zama's character in the Jeep, when they're like, oh, close all the windows, and they're like stuffing their jacket in like a crack or something for the back.
It kind of made a little bit of sense in the moment where it's like, what else can we do? Just close the vents, because, you know, there are vents that show the outside.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I think it was an older car. I was like, honestly, that kind of makes sense until you look at the roof, and I'm like, even if it wasn't closed, it's the way the roof was constructed. I'm like, even if that wasn't cut open, do you really think you'd be able to seal everything with that type of roof?
Right, exactly. Right, that's what I meant.
Oh, I thought you meant in general.
On the back of the Jeep. No. I meant just the idea of that being a Jeep with a cover over on, you know, the back end. Like, there's no way you're making that airtight. You are all already dead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. That's my problem with this movie, I think, just overall, just the idea that, and like, look, I know some people say stuff about zombie media and things like that. That's kind of why I like, there's certain zombie media, I'm not going to say which ones in particular, because I don't want to spoil stuff. But that's why with certain zombie media, I like that the idea is that everyone has the virus. It only gets activated when you die.
Right.
Or if you get bitten. Right? That makes sense.
Right.
Everyone has the virus. There's certain zombie media that do that, and I actually super-duper prefer that, because if the idea is, oh, it's only if you get bitten, and only some people have it, but you escaped, it's like, yeah, because you can escape airborne viruses super easily. Just run away from the air, children. Run from the air.
Right.
We're not breathing it. We're not pulling it into us at every waking moment of the day.
Yeah.
Run. So that's kind of my big issue, is that, like, wind is looked at like it's a finite, or like the air, and granted, I know that it's, you know, it's being carried, and I totally get that. I still do. I know it sounds like I don't, but I totally do. But I think just even as a basis, at the time, even if people were super happy about the environmental message, I don't think there was one person that I knew, and this is all we're in high school, so we should be susceptible to not knowing shit. But still, we were all like, that's the wind.
Right.
If the wind is attacking us, I think we're dead. We'll be fine.
Right. Yeah. Now I see what you meant about it not being OP enough. Because in some cases it is too OP, but then in cases like that, it's not OP enough.
Yes, and OP referring to overpowered, video game term for some people. Yeah. No, it's because I mean, there's a lot of people that listen in that probably know about those guys play
you're right.
stuff.
No, I know.
But still, in the off chance.
You're right.
Yeah.
We're talking about movies. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very accurate. And by the way, this would be a great video game, because again, in a video game, I could suspend my disbelief. But I could suspend my disbelief if I'm playing a video game of this, because what? I'm going to die in the first few seconds. It's a goddamn game. I have to play this thing for at least a good, a good 10 hours.
Now, what if it was a text adventure? Oh God, Matt, there you go. It's a text adventure, so you can die every minute. And you have to figure out how not to die. That's what extends the longevity of the game.
Okay, all jokes aside, and you're
God.
kidding.
No one send that to Shyamalan. He might try and make a game.
Dude, I don't think he had to make a game. I'm pretty sure there are text adventures that are based on sci-fi stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure they'd rock. Or they have rocked. Old school PC text adventures. It sounds like a normal it's true. Yeah, but that's the funny thing. I feel like Shyamalan.
We're playing one right now, aren't we, Matt?
Yeah, right. Well, no, not one based on The Happening. But still, I'm just saying that I think I truly believe that. Shameless plug. No, shameless plug comes later. I truly believe that this movie could work. I feel like Shyamalan just started playing video games and was like, that's a really good concept. Not that he's stealing, just the idea of like, that's a good, this could work as a game. And it's like, it really could, but only as a game. This is not something that can work as a movie, because as a movie, I don't know. And it's nothing against video games like, video games suck, so we don't have to care about the plot. But it's the idea of you want to play through it, so you might, like for instance, right, if we were actually sitting here, even though it's a superhero movie, but if we were actually sitting here and talking about the statistics behind how fast Spider-Man would die or Iron Man would die, if we're talking about it in a movie, it might be a bit easier to do that versus playing it, because who wants to stop being Spider-Man? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, who's playing a game and it's like, I don't want to fly like Iron Man. I don't want to swing web like Spider-Man. So as a game, we can kind of give certain things a pass when it comes to what you can do, because you want to be able to do it. In this case, though, because we're watching it happen to someone else, we're like, they all should have been dead in 5 minutes. Because it's the idea of outrunning the air. Like if you're playing a Jurassic World game, you're I want to outrun the pyroclastic flow. Right. But if you're watching it in a movie, you're like, this is stupid.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like you're not going to be playing a game I guess I'll die. Like
I guess kind of the same idea. What was it? It was a more recent disaster movie. I think it was called Earthquake. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. Was The Rock in it, as he is in many?
He might have been, actually.
Yes, San Andreas, perhaps.
Maybe.
That was about an earthquake in San Andreas.
Yeah. It might have been San Andreas.
Okay, but what about it?
But, like, there was one scene where they were, like, getting into a plane, to get off the ground, and they're driving, I think it was a plane, driving off the runway, or they were in a car, I can't remember which, and the earth is cracking out underneath them. And it's kind of like, you want them, and I'm saying, like, now, as a movie setting, it's like, you don't exactly want the earth to swallow them up and that to be the end of the movie, but at the same time, there's no earthly way that they're escaping the earth opening up underneath them. That and earthquakes don't work that way, but it's a movie, so we're throwing that out the window.
Mm-hmm. So another thing I want to mention as well is that speaking of an action movie, like you just brought up, if this was an action movie, because you were describing it as one before, I disagree. Because if this was an action movie, Mark Wahlberg would have been shooting the wind, and I would have been so fucking into that. Like, that's the thing.
No, they would have been shooting flamethrowers into the wind to destroy the pollen or spores.
Dude, I would have been so... But that's what I'm saying. When something's an action movie...
That actually might have worked.
But it's America. A lot of people have guns. Not a lot of people have flamethrowers.
That's fair.
But my point is this, is that if it was an action movie through and through, like, we're going to... Don't worry, guys. We're going to fucking fight this shitty-ass wind. You're going to come to Boston, wind? Huh? You're going to come to Boston and fuck with us, wind? So, like, if that was the movie, I would have been invested. Because as an action movie, you can kind of turn off even more things because of the fact that you're like, all right, this is fun, entertaining, certain words. But because you've taken that away and in a way tried to make it a thriller drama, it gives it a little bit more of, and I'm not saying action movies, we can't take them seriously. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that when you say this is an action movie, you can kind of think like, okay, like, is someone going to try to drive away from an earthquake? Are they going to, what I'm saying? Like, if I'm watching a Fast and the Furious movie, especially some of the newer ones, I'm not sitting there and thinking, well, how did he do that? No, I've fully accepted that is the premise. You're driving out of a skyscraper onto another building, whatever.
Right.
This is fucking crazy. This is cool. This is nuts.
Yeah.
Versus this movie where it seemed like they were actually trying to show their dramatic chops more so than it being a fun romp. And and the thing is, Shyamalan said it was supposed to be a B movie. I think in some ways he kind of failed at that, because I think in my opinion, a B movie, I'm not saying it's supposed to, you were saying this and I agreed with you actually, so you said it and I agreed. You were saying how a B movie is supposed to be so bad it's funny, or so bad it's good, or so bad it's entertaining.
Yeah, at least in my experience, yeah.
But I've noticed that as well. That's not every B movie, but I've noticed that as well. And I think, and if he was really trying to do that, and he was, first of all, usually with B movies, you don't try to do that. So that's what's weird too, by the way. You don't try to make, like, something that it's not always the case, but sometimes if someone's trying to make something, like, oh yeah, I'm going to make this, it's going to be so totally bad, it usually doesn't turn out that way. Like, oh, so bad it's good if you're trying. So a lot of B movies, like we're looking at Troll 2, right?
Right. I'm thinking, Troll, The Room, Sharknado, stuff like that.
They were made
is what comes to mind.
They were made to be good, and then they became entertaining through the sheer horror. That was not the monsters. It was the sheer horror
of it.
Yeah, exactly. So in this case,
granted, I wasn't really into it anyway, but that's just me.
But I know what you're talking about, though. In this case, it didn't seem like Wahlberg or Zooey Deschanel or any of them really were in on the joke. So if that's what Shyamalan was going for, then I don't know. Now, if he meant B movie, like, no, just it's not meant to be an A-list level movie, well, then here's the thing. Maybe it's just in hindsight, but to me, at least when it comes to Wahlberg, he's a big enough actor that you really should have went for someone else. Now, maybe it's just in hindsight. But I looked at his filmography. He'd been in a lot of stuff before, and he was also a big-time singer. Well, rap artist, musical artist. So, like, it's just weird to sit back and be like, oh, yeah, Wahlberg in this isn't a big deal. And the money that they spent on this wasn't a big deal. Like, it's just a B-movie budget, which I don't think the budget was, like, in the hundreds of millions. But saying that already makes it sound like it was still a lot to be a B-movie.
Right. Yeah.
Let me see how much it cost.
While you do that quick, though, I actually kind of did like the drama in the sense of, Mike Wahlberg's character trying to piece together what is going on. And, like, in a weird way, like, when I first watched it, I was still trying to piece together what was, like, each time, something happened, I was trying to piece together, like, what was going on. And I mean, they made so many, like, shots of the plants and the wind moving. I'm like, okay, so it's plants. Like, I definitely knew it was plants.
Yeah, I meant the character drama.
But, like,
I didn't mean like that stuff. Yeah, but please keep going.
Because I kind of like that about it. Like, just looking at each event and trying to piece together what really was going on.
So one thing I want to mention, the budget was $48 million, which, to be fair, actually, I think that's even less than, like, the Deadpool movie. So, actually, to be fair, $48 million. All right, it made $163.4 million, which is kind of funny because of the fact that it technically made a lot more worldwide than, but at the same time, it got so many negative reviews.
Right. Well, because I think, from what I remember, because I remember the trailers, and all you ever saw in the trailers were, like, the death scenes. And I'm like, well, that's what got people's attention.
That's interesting. And it's sad, though, because it wasn't that kind of movie. Granted, there were a lot of deaths, but it wasn't that kind of movie. Yeah. So I feel like maybe that's also another reason why I got some negative reviews. Like, it didn't have, like, it had the gross-out deaths of old movies. Like, in terms of, like, before there were certain standards, it would be like, oh, that's gross, right, So, like, it kind of had some of those, which I guess, yes, it harkens to some older, like the late-night movies, ooh, spooky.
Right.
It kind of had that, but at the same time, it was just, I don't know, I don't want to say slow, but just the idea that because there was no creature. That's it, there was no, like, late-night creature to attack, which kind of makes it seem like it's fleeting, which in a way just gives you not necessarily a sense of dread, but it's just hard for you to I don't know, it's hard for you to get invested when it isn't, like, it would be like making a show, right, or a movie where the enemy is a faceless government. How do you take it down? You have to give that, that enemy in the show a face.
Right.
It is the leader.
Yeah.
Right? It is an enemy leader. Or if they're fighting a faction, then they're fighting, a leader of the army, right? The rebels are going up. Like, imagine if Star Wars was them fighting against the Empire using the Force, but there's no Vader. It's just the Empire.
Right.
How is that? Like, how do you do that? And by the way, they never fight any stormtroopers. They're just traveling to go fight the stormtroopers.
Right.
It would be an odd film to say the least. By the way, one side note. Just adds on to my whole theory on, not my whole theory, but my whole point on the fact that Wahlberg was not in his element. When he was talking to that fake plant, that was the best part of the movie.
Right. That actually was pretty hilarious.
It was.
Like, that was the only time I actually laughed.
Yeah. It was the best part of the movie. He's like, I'm talking to a fake plant. I'm talking to a fake plant.
I'm still doing it. Yeah.
It's just, it was the best part of the movie. Why? Because he's acclimated to do either something like that or something very, action heavy, running, jumping, sliding on things, shooting the wind. Right. Oh, by the way, when they were in that house, I swear to God, I thought it was a nuclear testing site.
Yeah, it's funny because I got that text before I had started watching it, so I'm like, I don't remember that. Like, I wonder what the hell he's talking about. And then as I'm watching it, when I see, he starts tapping, like, the TV and it's fake, and you see the fake food, I'm like, oh, God, it is a nuclear testing.
Thank you. No, I truly.
It was supposed to be a model house. Oh, it was a model house, like, because that was another thing. They were building a community there, so like that area was supposed to be getting set up to being torn apart to build more houses. Right.
Which, like, I totally get that. That's another issue. Like, that adds on to the movie's, theme. But I thought it was nuclear testing because, again, that's also something else that can happen, like nuclear testing.
Yeah.
Even Wahlberg's character was talking about how they dug so far and they got some kind of weird mineral thing that hadn't been found for years. So this movie actually, I think, did a good job of doing what – I don't know if you've ever seen the original –
right. It was plumes of bacteria in the ocean because they referenced the thing. Yeah, it was in the bacteria on the Australian coast, and all fishermen were getting sick from it, and it was a bacteria that hadn't been found in thousands of years. On the surface or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Night of the Living Dead. I don't know if you've ever seen the original Night of the Living Dead, but they did something really good in that movie, the original, like, black and white 1960s. What they did was they didn't, like, we just knew that there was an issue, but we didn't know why. So in this case, I think the issue is that in this movie, they're trying to make it seem like, well, I wonder why. When I didn't know the plot, I thought it was the wind. I found out within 5 seconds that it was the grass, and I'm like, oh, then why are we acting like what do you mean? Like, the movie made it very clear very early on when watching it, oh, it is the wind. Or it is the grass along with the wind, but still, mostly the grass. Or the trees and, the plants and everything. So it's just kind of funny how we're supposed to be like, what is it? Even to the end, Mark Wahlberg's just like, I don't know what this is. It's like, wait, what? It feels like he's still like that. Like, I mean, granted, he does talk to the plants, so you think that everything's fine, but, like, they're still walking near plants. Granted, where else do you go?
I guess it was the idea. It's like, this is just what I'm going off of. I don't actually know if that is what's happening, but it's my best guess right now.
That's true. That's fair.
But still, like, if that's your best guess, you're going to go with, I think this is what's happening. I think we should follow what I've thought out.
Yes.
You're not going to be like, well, maybe we could do something else anyway. That's just my best guess, but let's not follow that.
Yeah.
What do you mean? No, of course we're going to follow that.
Exactly. One thing I want to say as well, so getting back to what I was saying, rather, the idea that, related to Night of the Living Dead, that, this idea that, like, we don't know what it is, but not only in this movie does it make it seem like we know what it is immediately, but I don't know, even at the end of the movie, when we have, more importantly than Mark Wahlberg, the guy, the two people on the news, and one of them saying like, well,
right.
I mean, it's going to happen. Yes, it's going to happen. He's just like, well, I mean, wouldn't this make more sense if it happened elsewhere? In a way, it might have been better if it just ended before that or at that, with something else in between. Like the fact that we had to jump to France and be like, oh no, it's going to happen worldwide.
I mean,
I don't know. It felt
honestly, I kind of like that, but
okay. Well, the reason why I'm saying it is, it feels like I don't need an open-ended ending, because technically it's still not a finished ending if it's going to happen worldwide. Like, does that mean it's never going to happen in the U.S. again, or at least in that area of the U.S. again? Are the kids actually safe? That's the thing. Like, you start asking questions that you don't want to ask at the end of your movie because you're never going to get another one.
Yeah.
So,
I guess it's the idea, like, for me, it's usually, because I've seen other disaster movies, like, another one that I remember, like stuff like The Core or Volcano, like it's, or even Day After Tomorrow.
Oh, wow. It's been a while.
It's these, yeah. It's these really big climactic events, but, like, they pass, but it's like it's the idea. There's always the idea at the end that it might only be a matter of time before something like this happens again because it's a climactic event and the Earth has been changed. So in this sense, it's like, instead of having the feel-good moment, I guess, at the end, it's like everybody lived, now we need to prepare for the future. I guess technically they do live. But I guess in those, it's an event that passes and you don't necessarily have to worry about it afterwards. Because, like, they end up trying to fix it somehow.
Yes. I mean,
in this,
that's the funny thing,
there was no real
solution.
It just happened. Well, with the core, they're able to get the core moving again.
Okay.
In Volcano, the eruption happens, but after the eruption happens, the volcano's gone. Like, Day After Tomorrow was more like the giant storm hit and the storm passed, but that one's kind of more like, well, when will this happen again?
Right.
Kind of idea.
Right. And this one came out, I think, before Day After Tomorrow. I don't know about the other two, but I know it came out before Day After Tomorrow, because I thought that one came out around 2012.
Yeah, Volcano was, I believe, 90s, and I think the core was early 2000s, like 2 or 3, somewhere in there, maybe 5, but somewhere in there.
But yeah, no, but I think it's just, I don't know, like, I'm not saying it had to be completely open-ended, like with no clear anything in sight. I'm just, because again, I hate when that happens with some of Shyamalan's films, but in a way it's not like it finished everything, like, just because our character survived does. And also, again, when it comes to certain disaster movies, it felt like this one was trying to have us guess in a weird way, maybe, or like get different, possible ideas. Like, I don't know, like, it's just a strange thing for Wahlberg to randomly bring up in that house if it's not something we're actually supposed to be thinking about.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's just my thing. Also, I'm trying to think of some other things here and there. God, the kids are dying on screen. I can't even look. So, yeah, because if you guys don't know, longtime fans will know, but some of you guys might not know if you're listening in for the first time. I'll play the movies on in the background as as we're doing the podcast. So, like, any little things, I'm like, by the way, that was shit. So in this case, I'm like, oh God, they got shot. Good God, they got shot. Oh, I will say this much: when the scenes really, needed it. It's not like they were completely, like, stone-faced, like, oh, no, this person is dead. Like, when the kids died, they kind of reacted, I think, like some people would react, at least in some parts of it, when a kid would die in front of you. Just tears streaming down your face, going, we got to go now. I'm not saying that, vocally it was the right tone, like, in a weird way, but, like, still, like, I don't know, it kind of, but it still kind of made sense, like, good God. We really should run.
Funny, that's why when you said B-movie, like, some of those emotional shots where, like, especially her character, where her tone of voice felt out of place, I'm like...
Yeah, Deschanel.
Oh, is that why? Deschanel, right. I'm like, is that why?
But I don't know. No, but if it is, then that's good. But I don't feel like they were in on the joke, because I feel like Wahlberg clearly wasn't if he came out with that.
Wasn't in on the joke. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think she would have been either.
I don't think so. Like, I just think that it was her first big movie role like that, and more importantly, you know, if your production time, like if it isn't used well, if you have a short production time, you can't do that many retakes. You know, you have an outdoor shoot, so it needs to be done right now, this time, yada yada.
Right.
And also, I don't know how they were directed because I wasn't a fly on the wall, so I have no idea how that went.
True.
Yeah.
I feel like that's definitely a part of it.
Yeah. Oh, one random aside. Oh, no, maybe not so random. The old lady busting her head through windows. That's something that I would have preferred more. Not her specifically, although I hated her character. Just the idea that it would have been very interesting to see if people can get turned into vessels to do their bidding. Nah, we don't need interesting shit like that.
How do you mean, like the plants take kind of like mind control?
Ish. Well, that's kind of what they did.
Ish.
I mean, that's what they did with her, though.
Well, no, I think it was just a really bad way of that's how she was trying to off herself. Was smacking her head into things.
She had barbed wire around her. She literally walked up to a window that Wahlberg just secured and slammed her head through it. The same way that when Wahlberg was on the phone, and she was not Wahlberg was on the phone, but that one woman was on the phone with her daughter in Princeton, and the daughter was saying, "Hey, I'm going to stay in the house." And then it's like, why is she talking that way? And then the window broke. Perhaps the daughter broke through the window, or potentially the fucking plants or someone broke through her window. We have no idea what floor it was on.
I think she just jumped out the window, because it sounded like there was a few seconds before you hear the crunch where she hit the ground.
That's true. Oh, I thought it was the crunch of her jumping through the window.
No, it was after the glass shatters.
Oh, okay. Either way,
like, I'm pretty sure. Like, if you go back and listen to that scene, I think you'll hear it.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
But
because I really don't want to have to go back to this movie.
No, she killed herself. I think that's the bigger point, dude.
Oh, well,
or just the crunching, or the sound effect, really.
Right.
But no,
it's not like I'm telling you to go back and watch the kids get shot through the door with a shotgun. Jeez.
Yeah, I already fucking did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird. Okay, so I think maybe we can laugh at this. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this is a little chuckling aside. During the dinner scene, all I could hear is, "Children behave. That's how we play when we're together." Yeah, all I could think of was the 10 Cloverfield Lane. That's all I could think about during that entire scene.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Oh, God. Matt, no.
Matt, yes.
Oh,
but
God.
That's all I could think of.
Oh, God. You associated those movies together with two of the worst. Oh, God.
Wait, what?
No, just thinking of the tension of 10 Cloverfield Lane, them sitting together at the... just the tension. It's like, oh, God.
You're right. By the way, I would like to say, I do think that in some ways her character is misunderstood. It was just a lot. It was a lot. Like, I have an odd feeling. I have a super odd feeling that she lived in that place with her husband, and muggers came in and killed her husband.
Oh, yeah, we know nothing about her character as well. Like, yeah, it kind of gives a bad vibe of like, oh, well, she's mentally unstable. It's like, please don't. Let's not go to this place.
Yeah, dude, we have no fucking idea. Not you personally, I'm saying like in general. Like, we have no idea what's going on with her. Like, for all we know,
or what she's been through.
She's been happy with her husband. Maybe on that plot of land, I don't know. But she's been happy with her husband. Her husband maybe had a green thumb. And then her husband could have... I mean, if he died naturally, lady, chill the fuck out, in my opinion. But like because in my opinion, it's like, dude, like chill the fuck out. But in my opinion, with her outlook on the world, something real shitty happened to her husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think he died like in the war back in the day. I don't think she's been living there for that many years. Maybe, but you know, I think he may have died in like some home invasion gone wrong. And she's like, look, I just love being away from the world. Frankly, you don't have to tell me anything that's going on in the world. And it's like, what? Which is kind of funny because like I can see in a weird way you being like, hey man, I'm just happy to live on this plot of land. Don't tell me, like just living like but in a chill way. You're like, nah, man, don't worry. I'm just happy here on my farm, away from the world.
Right.
You know, like I don't care about this new tech. And it's like, no, Tristan, there's a virus. Like, you know, Tristan, you need to understand.
Right. Yeah. You make it seem like everybody who likes to live on a piece of land out in the countryside who likes to be on their own is, you know, crazy. It's like, please don't. Please don't.
Yeah, it was strange because they did it twice technically. Because they did it with the boarded up house that she lived in, and then with the two people that shot the fucking kids.
Yeah. Right.
It's like countryside. Oh man, that's crazy. It's like I have no problem showing like horror movie villains in the countryside, you know what I'm saying, like Leatherface, all right. But there's a big difference between like Leatherface and showing two different incidents of two different, you know, types of people who live in the countryside who are just allegedly off. I mean, obviously the you know, people that shot the kids are off, but still,
or even
in
the
her
people
case,
that were talking about the plants too.
They were accurate. I loved them. I loved them so much.
They were nice, but like Deschanel's character, like when she's like like mouthing crazy to Wahlberg when they're in the greenhouse, it's like, you know, they're probably going to end up being right.
Well, it was kind of funny because it's just like it's crazy
that they were supposed to just be quirky. But
I know, but it's funny though because I don't know, they didn't come off as quirky. They came off as rather rational-minded individuals because it's like, what do you like? I don't know. Am I supposed to be sitting here? Am I supposed to be some kind of liberal elite because I live in New York? Like hot dogs, push. How could I deal with such, such lowly pleasantries? I only have the finest caviar. Go fuck yourself. Hot dogs are great. I hate it. Because like when Zooey Deschanel's character was like, I don't like hot dogs. I was like,
well, I think even Wahlberg's character.
She should have. I was like, he was fine with the hot dogs. He was like, yeah.
Was
like
he?
He's not.
Oh.
Yes.
I thought he was
said,
like,
yeah. Well, he was like, yeah,
okay.
like, you know, he said, yeah, in a way, like, either maybe he meant it like, he was supposed to mean it like, yeah, dude, whatever. But it came off as, yeah, who the fuck doesn't like hot dogs? Zooey Deschanel's character said, I don't like hot dogs. It's like, well, you know what? I think you guys should have gotten a divorce. There, I said it. There. I'm just John Leguizamo's character. That's just what it is.
I don't know, man. I don't think you should have gone with her. Like, I saw her at your wedding. Oh, God, this shit again.
I don't remember if he's Puerto Rican or not. But if he is, I just think that right then and there, it's just he and I are just like, listen, man, who doesn't like hot dogs? All right? Who doesn't like hot dogs? Who lives in New York doesn't like hot dogs? She's not for you. She's just not. You know, me and my brother have been saying it the whole time, haven't we? We've just been saying it, you know? Just Bob Hoskin. Just saying.
Oh, my God.
The two of them at the wedding.
I honestly would have loved that. I would have died.
Yeah, that would have made the movie good.
Yeah.
Can Mario outjump the wind? I don't know.
Oh, my God.
That's the problem. They went to that fucking parallel dimension. They brought some shit back with them. They should not have brought those mushrooms back. Polluted the entire ecosystem.
No, but Matt, you got to trust the fungus. The fungus is there to help you.
Son of a fuck.
You didn't think I remembered any lines from that movie, did you?
I didn't, and now I've it's like a whole new world, but of negative emotion.
Yes.
I mean like in terms of the song from Aladdin, A Whole New World, but completely negative. It's like that whole song, but instead of it being a beautiful night, it's just horrific and violent.
Sounds like the pollen got to you, Matt.
Yeah, potentially. Oh, by the way, so let me explain why I thought that the trees were talking to this woman. She stared at Mark Wahlberg's character after stepping back, after seeming like she was talking to the trees as the wind is blowing through.
Maybe. I feel like that was just for the shock value. To stare, it's like, I am dying, I'm staring at you. Be shocked.
What I'm saying, look, I'm just trying to say, you were right about the other scene. That was dumb of me to bring that up. But
No, I don't think it was dumb of you. Like, I'm not even saying that about here either. Like,
no, I know you're not here.
You just interpreted the scene differently. No, not even the other one either.
Oh, no, because I actually think that when you said that, I was like, oh, I missed that. Okay. In this case, though, I'm going to go hard on this. I truly believe that, because it's just weird that she would decide to kill herself that way. Granted, yes, it fucks over the characters, but I feel like the trees, they're evolving, Tristan.
Yeah, right. No,
they're evolving. I'm kidding, somewhat. I'm not kidding about the evolving thing, but no, it was just weird that. Also, why was her nose already bleeding? What already killed her? What was already?
Well,
she's just
because
old.
She was hitting her head. Well, no,
before
she
hit the
around
head.
The outside.
Oh, okay.
Because when you hear that thumping, I think she was smacking her head against the side of the house, and then the window just happens to be there.
Oh.
And then she smashes her head through the window, and then does it again. It's
Great
like
point.
She's trying to break her face open.
I thought it was the wind. Because the wind would hit that hard.
It feels like a stupid way of her trying to off herself instead of using a gardening tool that's probably out there, or just rolling around in the barbed wire. Yeah.
Or it wasn't technically barbed wire, but it was still wiry fence that I'm like, oh, she's gonna fall on that.
Right. Yeah.
And then she didn't. All right, that's fair. You're right. But because I don't know, like I would have preferred some kind of weird, and I think this happened in The Last of Us, though I've never played The Last of Us. But like plant people would have been very interesting as a late movie concept. I know it's like, Matt, that's too fast, or Matt, that makes it too campy. Let's try to go for a B movie vibe. Make plant people.
Right. Yeah.
Again, it makes a villain that you can actually kill, rather than it seeming like, oh, there's no way we can survive this, JK, we totally did.
Right. Or if you were even, like, maybe the plants growing and starting to, I don't know, like, or go, like, really extreme, like the plants are growing and starting to, break into houses and shit.
Yeah, that would be a bit more like The Birds, I think. A little bit of The Birds, a little bit of Little Shop of Horrors, and a little bit like that Doctor Who episode.
Right. Right. Except the plants were trying to protect the planet in that episode.
Right. In this case, hey, the planet's trying to protect it. They're trying to protect the planet by murdering the people.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, another reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. The other reason why I love this concept, too, in a way, is because it does feel very much like an anime manga thing, like with, like it seemed like something Junji Ito could have drawn. Because, like, when he drew, like, when he drew the, like, it was, Gyo was the one where the fish were being, possessed, if you will. I don't want to spoil it, but there was like a weird like bacteria virus potential thing going around, and the fish were coming on land to kill people.
Right.
Stuff
See
like
that?
This. So
yeah.
It in a way, it's like nature's fighting back. In that way, I think so. That's why I don't hate this concept. I'm very married to the concept. It's usually when it comes with certain Shyamalan movies, not all, but certain movies, it's the execution that I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, I totally feel the same way for this one.
Yeah, and
especially
it's really sad too. Especially this one. I mean, I love the, the pro-environment, anti, destroying the environment message, and I mean, there's been other manga writers as well that have done the idea. Granted, also in very B-movie ways, not with Junji Ito, but there's another one, and I don't want to mention it right now, but I'll tell you about it after. No, because it's too much to explain on one podcast, but it was the idea that, like, if the Earth fights back, like, it'll, like, the environment will change, and the air will stop being hospitable to us. You'll have, you'll have a situation where, the animals will fight back, potentially even without realizing it. They're just going to, they'll start
Godzilla
biting
will
us.
rise out of the sea.
Yeah, right? Could you imagine Godzilla just rising out of the sea like, it's time for me to wait, what? Oh, you motherfuckers. Just stumbling.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna do the atomic breath, but I'm not gonna open my mouth. Just kills himself.
He has too much plastic. Oh God.
Oh, Godzilla comes out of the sea, has a little plastic ring around him. How big are your sodas? You fucking assholes.
Oh my God.
That's actually a big
I don't
problem.
want to laugh at that, because that's actually
it's a legit. It is. No, it's a serious fucking issue. Which would have been also interesting in this movie as well, I think, sort of. Like, something too, by the way, how are the animals reacting? Because we saw some animals like, bruh, you okay? Okay?
No, that's the thing. I feel like the animals were totally fine.
Yeah.
It was just people. It was specifically targeting, like, neural pathways in people.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like, I don't know how to say this. I feel like certain people should have maybe been spared. Like, the power of love thing, I was wondering if it was actually going to be like, wow, you two really showed so much compassion for each other. Granted, with the actual chemistry they had, it would have been terrible. But if they had a lot of chemistry, it would have been beautiful as like they've come together and the plants understand. Like, oh, wait, this kind of love can also be seen in humanity. Because, to be fair, well, some plants, like my house plants, might be like, hey, you're cool, Matt. There's a lot of love here. I assume the plants because speaking of all the neural networks and everything, I assume the plants that are getting cut down by fucking chainsaws aren't like, this is what humanity's love has to give us. Yay. Hooray. Bonsai.
Right.
They're being fucking murdered. They're being murdered. So they're sitting there like
when they had the people in the greenhouse, like, as he's like, it's okay, we'll be back soon, we're just going to wait until this blows over. And he's like, oh, talking to plants actually, helps them grow and stuff like that.
But, yeah,
like,
it was
that's
so
why
weird
I enjoyed that bit.
It does. It does, though.
But, we never, we never came back to that.
Or to see if they live. Because that's the thing. What if they live? What if the plants were like, whoa, hold on, they're cool.
Right, they're cool.
Like one plant's like, no, I'm going to fucking shiv him. Sorry, that air's from New York.
Oh my God.
They're cool.
Or just like, the plants inside are like, no, they take care of us. We can use them.
The
plants pair together with the machines and make batteries. It's like they are 90% water.
I'm only laughing because the aliens are like 90% water. We have to get the fuck out of here. And they just get out and fly away.
That would be hilarious too. The plants are like, yeah, don't fuck with us. We got plenty of that shit too.
Father, the air is killing us. We must go to the towns to get medicine. Honestly, sweetie, it's the fucking 90s. I have no idea what's going on. What? Oh my God. Like, just breaks the cover right there. Guys, the air's killing us. This is really fucking weird.
Oh my God.
But, what was I going to say to you?
God, that would be horrifying. What if we melded, like, the last 5 Shyamalan movies, melded them all together into one horrifying monstrosity?
Sorry, genuinely. No, I actually was very happy about that. That would be an amazing universe. No, I live in apartments that are all connected to each other, so I heard a slam somewhere, and I heard someone walking, and I'm like, is that another apartment? Is that my apartment? Oh. Is that a home intruder? Is that on my ceiling? I don't know.
Are my windows open?
Find out on the next episode of I'm Gonna Die.
Okay.
No, but anyway, side note. By the way, where did they even set up shop for living their new life? Their new lives? Were they supposed to be in New York?
Oh, I felt like it, yeah. Or maybe not New York, but like a smaller town. You know what? Maybe they were in Pennsylvania.
That'd be funny. No, but I'm only wondering because I'm like, are they in New York and everyone else like no? Because to me it feels like there's barely anyone on the street, and I'm like, New York, barely anyone on the street, and I'm like, oh, that's sad. I know why. That's sad.
Well, yeah, that was it. I'm like, granted, a lot of people probably died, so maybe the population has gone down, but holy shit.
Yeah.
But there was one thing in that scene that really got me.
Which scene in particular?
So, when she's in the bathroom, sitting waiting for the pregnancy test, and you see on the wall behind her, in the windowsill, are houseplants. Now, I'm sorry, but if an event like that happened, I'd be a bit paranoid to keep houseplants.
I feel like the idea is if we love them, then they'll learn to not kill us. Which, again, we don't even know if that happened.
That's fair.
No, but that's true, though.
It was also when she was fidgeting. I guess she was just fidgeting, waiting to get the answer from the test. Mm-hmm. But it looked like, because it was just after that, or a few minutes after that guy was talking on the TV, and making the reference to like, oh, it's like a rash, like it's like an itchy spot, turning into a rash. It's only a precursor to what's to come. And she starts like fidgeting, and I thought she was like itching her arm. I thought for sure she was just gonna like turn around and like look at the houseplants and be like,
The plants are like, listen, I know I secrete every day, but this is disgusting. Could she not pee in front of us?
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I don't like speaking of the whole like house plants though. Yeah, I mean I get where you're coming from. Just them being so many of them around, by the way. So much. Granted, I guess you could argue it's kind of like the plants may have been the problem. Are we really gonna? And to be fair, potentially that one guy on TV was being looked at as a nut job from the way they were talking to him. So for all we know, they were like, damn bioterrorism, damn nuclear wave. Yeah. We don't know how many people died. It seemed like a lot of people died. I mean, that happens in New York. It's not going to be only 100 people dying.
Right, and it was across almost at least half of the eastern seaboard. Like, it was from Maine to Maryland they mentioned at one scene. So, that's a large area.
It really is. So that's the thing. Like, it seemed like it was a large area that it happened in. And, I just, again, like, in some ways, I think that if they leaned into the B-moviness a little bit more, maybe got a few lesser-known actors, or, now with the Sharknado model, which I don't think a Sharknado model existed yet. The Sharknado model is get some actors that were really big 20, 30 years ago that we like, but that were really big then. Maybe even get a pro wrestler or two.
Right.
That's the new B-movie model. No, he wasn't in Sharknadoes.
You're right.
I'm talking about, like, who was in Sharknadoes? Kurt Angle was in one. I think Seth Rollins was in one. Chris Jericho.
Okay.
Yeah. Get newer pro wrestlers or pro wrestlers people know, and also get older actors like a Hasselhoff.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, that's what make something campy or bringing back like Hasselhoff or Tara Reid or something like that.
That's the weird thing about this. Like you said, if they'd gone and if they had made it more B-movie like, or if they had made it a bit more serious, I think it would have been better. And you could have enjoyed it for one or the other instead of having it be in a very odd and awkward place in the middle.
Exactly. Yeah, it just didn't work for me, and I think that's what I'm going to say as we're wrapping this up. It didn't work for me, and I think if I'm going to have to give this any kind of grade, do you remember what I gave Lady in the Water? I think I gave it 2.5 Shyamalans, right?
Yeah, I think you were between 1.5 to 2.
Oh, 1.5 to 2. All right, then you know what? I'll give it a hard 2. This one's getting a 1.5 because I don't know, man. Like, despite some of the issues that I had with Lady in the Water, and I did have a lot of issues, dude.
Right.
This one just hits hard. I think it's also because, again, like, just the idea of it being a hard R and then taking advantage of it in some ways, but not in other ways. I don't know. Like, in a way, I appreciate what Shyamalan tried to do maybe a little bit more, even though I did shit on Lady in the Water. Still appreciate what he tried to do more with bringing in the fantastical into the real world, because we can suspend our disbelief if it's supposed to be a fantasy world brought into, you know, to real life. And yes, there are some situations that were unbelievable in my opinion, that it was hard to believe. But again, maybe I shouldn't take the fan canon that we put in there a little bit too seriously. But more so than where in this movie, you know, I don't know, like, it's supposed to be a disaster movie, but it's a very slow one. There's no central villain that can be defeated. It just has to be survived. And it's still going to happen. So whatever, like, at least with Lady in the Water, the ending is complete.
Right.
That's the thing. The ending for Lady in the Water is complete. In this case, it's more complete than some other movies that he's done, in my opinion, but it's still a similar, samey Signs kind of ending of, well, the family is back together, and isn't that what matters? And it's like, in Signs it did, even though the problem is the aliens are still around, but at least in
invasion,
Signs,
right.
Yeah, the alien fucking invasion, but at least in Signs the family was back together through hardship. In this case, I think because it's a relationship, it's like they're two very attractive people. They can find. There are so many fish in the sea, granted, before the deaths. But even now, there's still a decent amount of fish in the sea. Like, I don't know, just like, and also I guess I'm not I'm a fan of romance in movies. I'm okay with it. It's when the idea, like, a couple is going through hardships that I'm like, yeah, then break up. Like, it was very simple what they could have done. Granted, they were married, which does suck. But still, it was very simple. Oh, it's not working out. Then they should probably break up. It did, and also
Matt,
she had her flaws.
They have his best friend's kid to watch now, because she's going to grow up in a stable household.
It's funny. I'm okay with that. I just didn't like that the movie framed it as, see, they learn to love each other through destruction. It's just like, what about when
adversity?
What about during peace times then?
Right. What about paying the bills?
Do you have to create new adversity? Is paying the bills adversity? I mean, technically, I guess it is, but they seem to be doing fine with where they live.
Right, yeah.
They seem like they have 0 roommates. I think they're doing just fine. No, seriously, you need roommates to live in a place like that.
Right.
So they seem to be doing just fine.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. No, you're right.
It's a fucking damn good, actually, you know what?
I don't know what she does, but like, you're not affording that on just a teacher's salary.
I got to be honest with you. I'm going to say the same thing that I've said time and time again. The most unreal thing about this movie, you know what? Fuck the wind, fuck the pollen or whatever it was, the chemicals, fuck all that. The fact that he could afford even anywhere near half that rent on a teacher's salary in a public school in New York.
Oh my God. Right. Yeah.
Nope. No, because even a private school, some private schools don't pay too well, I admit, but some pay very well. Right. But he was in a public school in New York. He could afford maybe 1/10 of that.
Right.
Maybe I don't know what, you're right, I don't know what she does, but if she got, because they never said what she did. What does she apparently she eats tiramisu with Joey. All right. I don't know if that pays well or not, but anyway, I think it's time to wrap this up. We've shit on this for far too long. What's your? I'm 1.5 Shyamalans, maybe 2, but I really don't think I can lean it towards 2. What about you?
Yeah, I'll give it a 2. I'll give it 2 Shyamalans out of 5.
2. Yeah, we're going for 2 out of 5 here. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It was, no. It was 2 out of 10. We've been doing it out of 10 for the whole time.
Really? I could have sworn it was out of 5.
Nope. You said originally, is it out of 5? And I said, no, it's out of 10.
Oh, well, then my ratings have been completely off. Oh, well.
You've given things high ratings, I thought.
Oh,
I thought you've given them higher than 5.
Yeah.
When we did Sixth Sense and when we did Unbreakable, you gave them higher than 5.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
These
I think it was after that I thought it went to 5. Okay.
And then you asked me, and I said no, and you go, oh, okay, and then you rate it appropriately.
Right. Oh God, I'm being affected, Matt. Well, I guess this is it.
I guess this is it.
Okay, I guess for out of 10, then I give it a.
But remember, we're giving it out of all of Shyamalan's movies, not out of every movie ever. That's the reason why I'm rating them.
It's out of Shyamalan's, right?
Yeah. That's why I'm giving this
4,
Yeah, that's
4
the thing.
or 5.
Okay, because for me, I have no problem giving it like high. It's just like, or a high. Like I don't think like a 6 is failing, but for me, even with a 5 being failing, that's still 50 points in my head. Like when I think of it on a grading pointed scale, like that's why I'm like,
and
it's like a 2.
For me, that's mostly for the premise. Like the rest of it, I could. Yeah.
Oh, it's a 2 just based.
Gives it.
The 2 is based on premise. And some very small fun moments. But yeah, so 2 Shyamalans. All right then. So thank you all so much for listening in. Now's the time to plug some things. Well, I'll be very brief. Sometimes I'm a little bit long with these, so I'll try to be very, very, very brief. All right, 3, 2, 1. Those Guys on the Radio, what you're listening to right now, can also be found at our main YouTube channel for Those Guys on the Radio, at least Those Guys on the Radio. Search that up, and you'll find all of our backlogged podcasts there, as well as our show called Keikaku Corner, which is a weekly anime/manga/tokusatsu/general fun nerd news show. Sometimes we'll do some really just fun stories and stuff like that, and they are usually posted on a daily basis when we actually do the podcast, because sometimes we'll do them once or twice a month. Those will be posted daily on our Those Guys on the Radio YouTube channel, clips from that. Or we post our old archive shows that aren't on the channel as of yet. But right now we have more than 400 videos on the channel, a lot of different podcasts, a lot of fun stuff. We've been doing this for a few years now. And you can also find most, if not all, of our backlog, not only on Blog Talk Radio, which I assume you might be listening to this through right now, blogtalkradio.com/Those Guys on the Radio, but also on our iTunes, which search up Those Guys on iTunes, and you'll find all of our podcasts there. Also, you can check out our Let's Plays, like we mentioned earlier, where Tristan and I and a bunch of other hosts play fun games, showcase games, review games, play different consoles from around the world, even games from around the world as well, and also do a lot of other fun, interesting stuff like what's in a box, what's in a cart. Sometimes we do teach tutorials where I teach you guys how to either fix your old consoles or clean your old games or things like that. When it comes to what's in a box, we end up putting one console in a box that the guest, I know what it is, you guys can see what it is, the guest has no idea what it is and has to then guess just by putting their hands in the box. And what's in a cart is actually us looking at certain cartridges for older games that have gone online or through other means and seeing if they're real or not. And so that's very interesting. We found some fakes in the past, and some of them have been real. So we can check that out. You can check that out, rather, through our Those Guys Play YouTube channel. Also, you can check TG Productions YouTube channel, which on our TG Productions YouTube channel, we actually have a lot of fun little skits there, weird stuff, anime ASMR, so like ASMR parodies in anime format. So like me dubbing over, big major scenes in like Dragon Ball Z or other shows that have really either a lot of screaming, a lot of depth, a lot of gravity, but doing ASMR while it is happening. So it's a lot of fun stuff there. That, along with some other stuff, we've actually taken some of our podcasts, taken some of our funnier moments, and reinserted them in the movie when it was appropriate. Really dumb, fun stuff over at our TG Productions YouTube channel. And if you want to know, well, you say, Matt, I can subscribe to all these three channels, which you totally should. And you go, but I've subscribed, but I'm not always on YouTube. So how can I get notifications, even though you can click the bell option, the little bell to get notifications, but still, maybe sometimes you're just, you're not near your computer, the bell might be an issue because you would get notifications from a bunch of other YouTube channels. So then how do you stay notified with our videos? Well, you can go over to our social media accounts, which are facebook.com/ThoseGuysOnTheRadio, our Twitter, where you can tweet us at @ThoseGuysRadio, or you can go over to our main website, which is teachproduction.net, and you can actually find all of our stuff through those means. Heck, you even get some of our merchandise, like T-shirts and fun other stuff, over at our main website, teachproduction.net/merchandise, or over at our eBay, ebay.com/USR/ThoseGuysRadio, where not only at ebay.com/USR/ThoseGuysRadio, I sell T-shirts that we've made ourselves. Also, We even sell some merchandise from my collection, some from those guys' Play members' collections that they give over to me. They're like, Matt, please sell this. And I'm like, sure. And it goes right up on our eBay. Video games, pro wrestling merch, and all that other interesting stuff. And you can also support us through Patreon, patreon.com/TG Productions. On our Patreon, depending on what tier you give to, you can actually get us to do a specific podcast, a specific Let's Play, mix and match hosts, mix and match topics, if you will. So it doesn't have to just be, do this movie or do this TV show or do this episode. It could even be something like, hey, top 5 Dragon Ball Z fights or top 5 anime or something like that. Also, what could end up happening is you can actually end up contributing to different news stories so that we can actually have either Q&As or other things like that for Keikaku Corner or just in general for our YouTube channel. So you can say, hey, I would like to do a Q&A for you, i.e. me, Matt, and have that be on your Those Guys Play channel or have it be on your TG Production channel, and we can make that happen. You can actually say, hey, I want you and Tristan to play this game, or heck, Tristan and another host to play that game or something like that. So, and even a shout-out, we can give you a shout-out at the end of the month or during certain episodes, during certain seasons, something like that, or depending on, what tier you're given to, it doesn't have to just be a shout-out. It can actually be a promotion for your product as a full-on sponsor. So, depending on what tier you go for, again, patreon.com/TGProductions, you can help us out, help keep the lights on, and we can give you something back in return. Ooh, Tristan, we're done. It's happening.
And oh god. And if anyone can give me a tally of how many times Matt said either Those Guys or TG Productions, you get the Grand Shyamalan prize. I don't know what that will be, but
it could be nothing. Oh, twist. What are we doing next, Tristan? What's coming on the next day of Shyamalan? Do you know?
Oh, Devil? Is that just Devil?
Yeah.
And that was 2010?
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Right? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Don't lie to me.
I'm not. I liked it. Maybe I won't this time.
Okay.
We'll find out on the next night of Shyamalan. Say good night, Tristan.
Oh, good night.